the election itself, it seemed to be pretty fair and legitimate. And they're doing the exact same thing with Kamala Harris now. She doesn't talk to reporters. She doesn't show up to live streams for her own initiatives. She doesn't talk in public because, well, we know why she doesn't talk in public. But the thing that bothers me is that people are buying it. They're falling for it. So you're probably going to have people with monkeypox showing up for the Crypto for Harris, the next town hall meeting here. So let's take a little bit of a look at who is Amanda Wick, the organizer of Crypto for Harris. Let's take a look at here, Amanda Wick. I'm not going to say, okay, I'll say it. It's Friday. It's No Agenda Friday. We're going to say it. Is there anything less attractive than a middle-aged Caucasian liberal woman? I don't think that there is. I do not think that there's anything less attractive than that. So here's the face of that crew. Meet Amanda Wick, the co-organizer of Crypto for Harris campaign. And we can see her, this looks like it's from her LinkedIn. So I don't know if she's jobless right now, but there's nothing updated. Her last job was 2022. She worked as a senior investigative counsel for the U.S. House of Representatives. Before that, she was chief of legal affairs for Chainalysis, Inc. for a year. Then she was a senior policy advisor for the Department of the Treasury. Looks like while Trump was still in office, which is kind of weird, for 4 months. And the U.S. the DOJ for 3 years and 6 months. So this is who is heading the Crypto for Harris campaign, or the initiative. No, campaign, I guess. But I mean, just like, sorry, I don't mean to, criticize people, but honestly, Amanda Wick. So that's her. She's Chainalysis. She's chief of legal affairs for Chainalysis. That's her background. So you can tell what side she's on here. And if you're unfamiliar with Chainalysis, it's basically a big brother of the blockchain. They're trying to figure out which sats belong to who's sending to who. They use predictive modeling. I think it's not accurate at all. They just kind of use their best guess of where this probably went to. But it's not a good organization, and that's who is leading this. And I think that she would never win in a real world, but who knows what happens? Who knows what's going to happen here? If she ends up being part of the next government with whoever the Democrats put in there, it's going to be bad for Bitcoiners. It's going to be very bad for Bitcoiners in the US, and that's going to trickle down into the rest of the world. So, I know people within Bitcoin like to say that Bitcoin doesn't need politicians. Politicians need Bitcoin, and voting is a waste of time. I like the phrase myself that voting is essentially the adult version of making a Christmas letter to Santa. Kind of is, but at the same time, we have to take actual action in this kind of stuff. So if you are in the U.S. and you don't feel like voting this year, I would say think on it, because even though they are going to try their best to try to change the actual results of it, the more people that vote, the harder it becomes for them, and the more obvious. And I mean, even in that, like the last election was so blatantly obvious, and nothing has changed. But I mean, here's the thing for me. What's the point of not voting? I get it. You want to make a point, but at the same time, it just gives them more runway to try to push this narrative forward. So I'm not going to tell you what to do, obviously, but I do think that to avoid things like this, to avoid the Kamala Harris's, the Amanda Wicks, of ever having a sniff of having a say in what happens in our society, I don't know. Just my opinion there. You can take it or leave it. Just like everything else in the show. That's the beauty of the internet. If you don't like what I'm saying, you can simply just scroll on your phone to a different show. But we'd prefer to have you here. All right, so this is Cynthia Liss. This is another post that I wanted to share today. Just I love her, and I wanted to just highlight her because she is one of the good ones, I think. And this is what she had to say on Amanda Wick and the Harris campaign. Anti-Bitcoin, anti-crypto, anti-digital assets, but probably pro-CBDC. This is what a Harris administration looks like, and no amount of Zoom calls will change the reality. It's absolutely true. Basically what she's saying is, don't listen to what they're saying. Look at what they're actually doing. And she's absolutely right. And unfortunately, as we've been talking about here, people are very gullible and very brainwashed. So that's kind of where we are right now in the world. So shout out to Cynthia Liss. I don't know how to say it, but she's doing really good things for Bitcoin.